Hi, this is Jennifer Patrick, and I am excited to share with you my Makerspace plan. I really dove deep into this. I took some things from Dr. Kwan's book that I had last semester and got some ideas from there, especially like for the book and build. So I'm excited to share with you my presentation. So I wanted to start with my goals. I want productive development and productive failure to happen in my makerspace. I want learners to be able to select the right tools. Maybe it's paper, maybe it's electronics. And then I also want to encourage learning to build products that help the school, help the community, help the classroom. Some educational benefits are, of course, critical thinking and problem solving skills, resilience, knowing what failure looks like and knowing that that's not the end, that could be just the beginning. Collaboration, confidence, I think, is a really big one. And then also, of course, um, personalized learning instruction. When students are excited about what they're learning, then they are way more invested and excited about the things that they are able to do or maybe not do. So, when I think about the different activities and experiences that we've had in this course, I've thought about the UTech model and I've thought about some of the websites that we access, like Animoto and Scratch. I thought those are really great starting off points because they give basic introduction tools. And then as you get a little bit more brave, you can change the background, you can change this, you can change the font, you can start to customize as you want to. Book and build. I loved the book and build. I think anytime you can, tie anything back to books, I love it. And then the problem solving, creative thinking is not natural to me, but I did learn a lot from the process. So I was very appreciative of that. So that's something that I can share with learners. Something that I want to remember as I move forward is, of course, the book and build. I want students to come up with a problem and work through that design process. And I really liked the game show website. So some of the resources, like I mentioned, we have in this class the Makerspace manual, and then there's 100 Great Children's Books to Use with Makerspace Activities by Dr. Kwan that I referenced that had a lot of the book and build things. The other three books, Big Book of Makerspace, Projects, Engineering Activities, and Makerspaces, I kind of flipped through these and I thought that they offered some basic things, but then for those higher learners or maybe older kids, they offered some really great things for diving a little bit deeper. Some of the articles that were referenced, I was able to use. Some of the websites that I was able to play around with, I really loved. I'm a huge fan of Canva. I'm now a huge fan of Animoto and Scratch and all of these other really great things. I really wanted to create something on Tinkercad. I just didn't have enough time or the resources with me at home, but I really love Tinkercad also. As far as the space where to store things, I have a room next to my library that is dedicated for Makerspace. And I have really tall cabinets that I plan on locking, electronics in. I want to put seating and have seating for everybody to learn. Some of the storage that I'll have like some movable carts. I'll have some caddies at the table with, consumables, pens, pencils, scissors, paper, tape, stuff like that, Velcro, whatever. And then in the other buckets, I plan on having some of the materials that they need for a specific thing. Maybe I want them to specifically use pipe cleaners for something, and so on. Some of the articles from Dr. Kwan's website I was able to access and I really liked. I thought that they gave really great starting off points, good tips for setting up and starting a makerspace. So I designed my makerspace room. On this back wall right here, those are my floor to ceiling cabinets. I have a couch, kind of a learning center. These are the tables. I've got some rectangle ones. I've got some circle ones. I've got some moving consumable materials carts that can be kind of moved around. Right here where the rug is, I have a Promethean board, And that is where I'll give initial instruction. That's where I'll give directions and encouragement. That's where I'll have a lot of the instructions up the whole time so kids can refer back to them if they need to. And then, of course, I'll have a bookshelf. I thought about where I'd give instructions, and this is basically what I just went over when I showed you the map. But just, I wanted specific materials carts because I thought that it was important that everybody's not drawing from the same area. Everybody's drawing from the same area, maybe materials can run out a little bit quicker. I thought having, maybe having pipe cleaners in one and then something different in another I can, see the different creativity. Ways to pay for Makerspace. I got these suggestions from Dr. Kwan's video: school supply list, fundraisers, PTAs, grants, donations, and of course the library budget. I'm not going to read all of these, but there are tons of things to consider that people can donate, that you can get for free. Anything from leaves to popsicle sticks to tissue paper to empty cans. And I've got a second page. You can go out to nature and find things. You can get old remotes. Sometimes that kids want to tinker around with that. A sample letter. I have basically just kind of introduced what a makerspace is, what we would do with hands-on projects. We can do anything from taking something like cardboard to robotics. And I included some of the skills that they would work on. Some things such as perseverance, collaboration, persistence, failure, and excuse me, and what specifically I was going to use with some of those things, and how that's an investment in the community. If I had $5,000, I would get a 3D printer, some robots, some pathway things, an Edison robot, some other things. If I bought all of these things on here, I would just come under, not including tax, $4,991. I would use after school programs. A lot of the people that come into our schools after school are part of the community, and they want to help. They want to contribute. They want to be a part of the school. They want to be thought of as contributing members. And so I thought that that was a really good place to start. Working with teachers, of course, social media, showing parents and community members how their donations are being used. Thanks for it's one thing to say thanks for the donations. They don't ever know what's happening with them. But as they see that their money and their supplies are getting used, that gives them a lot more encouragement. And of course, announcements and posters around the school. Who is the Makerspace for? It's for everybody. It's for students. It can be for targeted groups. Maybe you want not just expo kids, not just gifted and talented kids, but maybe you want kids who are struggling with geometry or shapes. Maybe you can give them a hands-on experience and bring them into the Makerspace and have them actually create and craft, and they can feel the number of edges and the sides and so on. And of course, classroom teachers. And as far as assessing in the Makerspace, we can do anything from videos to games. There's always anecdotal records. As students create things, you can put that up on social media, as discussed before, bulletin boards. And, that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. I appreciate you watching, and I had a lot of fun with this assignment. Thanks.